Hey there, I'm Ken. This is Canadian Retro Things. Welcome. Today I am going to release my inner tech moan. For those of you that don't know who Techmoan is, well, he's a YouTuber that specializes in mostly audio equipment, different types of old audio stuff. So, yep, you guessed it. That means I've got some audio stuff to work on. More specifically, I've got two cassette players here, and neither of them are functioning properly, so I'm going to see if I can get these working properly. And by working properly, I mean I am hoping I'm going to be able to load up this version of Zaxxon on my TRS-80 color computer. So, before I get started on that, I guess I gotta say, what do I know about fixing cassette recorders? Absolutely nothing except what I've seen on YouTube. So, yeah, hopefully, my guess is that both of these are probably just going to need new belts and whatnot and a cleaning, because usually, from what I've seen, the belts turn to a lot of mush. So, yeah, but before I jump into doing that, I have to give a big shout out to the sponsor of today's video, PCBWay. PCBWay, where you can have PCBs printed starting at only $5 for 10 boards. Do you know what the tape players I'm working on today have in common with all of the other retro tech I like? They have PCBs in them. And if you need to print a new PCB for one of your projects, from the very simple to the very complicated, PCBWay can help with fast, reliable service. So why not try PCBWay today by visiting www.pcbway.com and PCB prototype the easy way. The first cassette player I'm going to be working on is this one from Sears. I picked this up in some auction a couple of years ago. I've always wanted to make a video about it, so it's a bit bigger. That's why I'm doing it first, so hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to work on. Won't be quite as compact. So this is a Sears model number 19394, and I tried looking that up on the internet and could find basically no information about this in the gigantic pool of different cassette recorders that Sears released. This was just one of them. We are now ready to take this cassette player apart. So little things that it's got. It's got a carrying handle there. Battery compartment. Plug in on the back for AC input. Plug on the side for DC input. Earphone, microphone, remote control, tone knob, and a volume knob. All right. So I'm using a number 2 Phillips here. As far as I can see, there's just 3 screws on the back here. Well, and that one's too deep in for this screwdriver. Now, these are a little bit not the right size, but let's see if we can make it work. There we go. Little shield. Okay, so we got... Actually, the belt in this one does not look bad at all. Let's plug this in and See what it's doing when we hit play. All right, so for some strange reason, this cassette player is working. As you can hear, it's playing the Zaxxon tape. That sweet, sweet screech of data. And as I was looking this cassette player over, I figured out that, yep, once again, I have to call myself a complete and utter moron. Because, well, let me show you. Push the play button. This is what it was doing. Nothing was working. When I initially tried this, couldn't figure it out. It was, rewind wasn't working, fast forward wasn't working, nothing. But there is a nice little button on the front here that says pause, and it's currently on. Well, if I turn it to off, so there is nothing wrong with this cassette player at all. Looking at it, the belts look fine. There's belts here. There's some lower down in there. They both look and feel fine. They're not spongy or not gooey at all like belts get. They got good play. So, yeah, this cassette player actually works. So that was a very, very anticlimactic. So I guess I can give it a little cleanup and then put it back together. Since we've currently got this apart, time to put a little bit of contact cleaner into the knobs so that they're maybe not scratchy at all. And also use a little bit of IPA to clean the reed head on here. So that'll be after I put the top back on. And flip the thing over. The next one I'm going to be looking at here is my Tandy CCR82. This is, of course, the smaller version of the cassette deck of the CCR81. Now, to avoid showing off my complete and utter incompetence, I have the Zaxxon tape here. Fast forward, you can hear the motor is on, but nothing's happening. Rewind works, kind of. And play, for some reason, the wrong spool is turning. Play should have that spool turning to bring up the cassette, but what's happening, this one is playing and it's just bunching up inside the cassette. So, something is definitely wrong there. And interesting enough, if you hit play while nothing's in there, nothing turns. Okay, so what it's doing is this is turning here and it's pulling the tape off of this side, which is, of course, causing that spindle to turn. This one, however, is not turning to pick up the tape. So the pinch roller is working, but that's it. That one's not. So that is the problem. This spindle is not turning. And of course, there's a volume control. The pause switch on this one looks like it controls the remote control input on the side of the tape deck there. And then there's a monitor switch for in and out. So let's take our batteries out and disassemble this. So I am using what am I using? I am using a Phillips number 1 here. Okay, that screw is much smaller than the other 2 I've taken out. Same size. So the 4 outer screws are all the same size. That guy's much smaller. So, and we are connected with some wires here. So, all right. So that seems to be on there fine. Okay. So I have to take the circuit board off, and tiny little screw there. So that would look like probably a 00. Yep. All right, I have found one more screw holding this circuit board on. So there's a screw here, over here, which was holding the little RF shield on. And the final screw is underneath all these wires right here. Okay, this is not going to be easy to actually see. So I'm working on this because the only way to do this is to just kind of lift this board up like this. And what I've done here is I have gone underneath here and replaced the belt here. And I don't know if you can see it. I tried to film it, but I couldn't really do it because it was mostly out of focus and out of frame because the circuit board is just in the way. When I took it off, right here I have the belt. It's nice and stretchy. It's not gooey. There's nothing that seems to be wrong with it. The only thing wrong with it, I think, is that the belt was just a little bit too big. Looks like somebody has replaced the belt, and it looks like they just used a belt that was a little bit too big. If it was an older belt, it would be coming off on my fingers here and be all gooey and stuff. So it's, yeah, it looks like it was just a wrong size belt. So now to see if that helped it out at all. All right, we've got it back together, so let's see what it's doing. Excellent. Both spindles are turning. I don't hear it playing anything, though. All right, I tried cleaning the head with some isopropyl alcohol. Let's see if that has made any difference whatsoever. Well, my only question is maybe the earphone slot is working and maybe the speaker is just not working. So let's see if I can find something to plug into that. Yes, I have some headphones here that I tested out on the other cassette recorder. They work. So very quietly there's something coming through. I'm going to hold this right up to my microphone, see if you can hear it. Now, I don't know if that's going to be loud enough to actually work on the computer or not, but sounds like there might be something wrong with the circuit. Like, it's not coming out of the speaker at all, and it's coming out of the earphone jack very quietly. So my best guess on this is that there must be a loose wire on here somewhere, because I've been going over this. I got the board out as best as I could, checked the other side for any leaky capacitors, because my best guess, of course, is that there is a problem with the amplification circuit, and I couldn't see anything wrong. I fiddled around with a bunch of wires, checking to see if I could find any loose connections. I didn't find any loose connections, but it's now working properly. So somewhere in there must have been a loose connection that was preventing the amplification circuit from working properly on here. So I am now going to put this back together and see if I can basically get it back together without making it any worse. I'm of course going to add a little bit of contact cleaner to like the volume knob here, just to make sure that we're not at all scratchy, and then we can test these tape players. I have the CCR82 back together. Before I did that, I went over all the wires again with my magnifiers here. I could find absolutely no loose wires anywhere. So my plan is that if I do have problems with this cassette deck again, I'm going to go and I'm just going to resolder all the wires. But you know, for the sake of time, I didn't do that today because it seems to be working. Now, let's go see if we can load a game. Before I get testing the tape recorders with my computer, I have to give a shout out to my channel sponsor, Retro Rewind. If you're looking for products for your Commodore computer or Tandy color computer, then Retro Rewind may have what you're looking for. From repair to gaming, he sells what you might need, and he ships worldwide. So check out Retro Rewind at www.retrorewind.ca. The link is in the description. And if you use my discount code of CRT10 at checkout, you'll save 10% on your order. Okay, we have the Color Computer 3 ready to go. We have Zaxxon ready to go, and we just simply type in cload M and hit play. Okay, it found Zaxxon. Excellent. And we have an I/O error. One of the problems with the color computer, of course, is that you usually have to fine-tune the volume just to get it to the right level for the computer. It's very touchy on that. So we'll try that. Well, here we go to try again. There we go. It loaded. So, I would say this one is not the best one to do loading games from, mostly because of that tone knob. I think it's changing the pitch and basically the playback speed. of the cassettes to change the pitch. So yeah, that's 2 knobs that you have to really fine tune here, and it's taken a lot of tries, but there we go. We've got some Zacks on, although, just a second here. Change that. And then we've got Zacks on in color. So, yeah, successful, if not a little bit frustrating, with this cassette player. And here we are with the Tandy color computer and the Tandy CCR82 tape drive. So, let's see if this works. There. Had to have the pause button in the right way. And we found Zacks on. And I currently have the volume set at 4, so 3, 4 is usually the best place to set the volume on these ones, from my experience. And it didn't work. So let's try this a few more times and see what happens. Maybe we'll try it on 3. Okay, well, remember what I said about it having to be around 3 or 4? Well, apparently with this one, I have it set at about 7 for the volume, so I guess this tape player is quite a bit different from the one I usually use. Let's see if it actually loaded properly. I didn't get any errors, so. And with one flip of my switcheroo, we're in color. So there you go. Steve Bjork's Zacks on, an awesome version of this game, I might add, for the color computer here. I don't have a joystick hooked up, but there's what it looks like. And I'm gonna crash. And I crashed. So, yeah. Both these tape decks work. I guess I could call this a 100% success, even though that Sears cassette player actually had nothing wrong with it, other than, yeah, my own stupidity. So I guess it just pays to get lucky sometimes. And that Tandy cassette player, well, I did have to change the one belt on it, and I noticed when I was loading up the game on it that the counter's not working, so I'm going to have to go back in and change the belt on the counter because it's not working. Other than that, the volume problem, well, I looked that board over and over and over, and I spent quite a bit of time, and I could not find anywhere where there was a loose wire or a shorted wire. So I've basically eliminated that as a possibility of what was wrong. What might have been wrong is that it started working as soon as I took the volume knob off. So possibly in the past, somebody had taken it apart to change the belts, and they took the volume knob off, and when they put it back together, they put the volume knob on wrong, like backwards or something, upside down, something like that, and it just wasn't working properly. I think it was stuck on a really low setting and it wouldn't change. So, yeah, my best educated guess, because when I took the volume knob off, it started working immediately, and now it works fine. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm glad to say that my inner tech moan seems to have worked out. And yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe, and comment, and all that other YouTube-y stuff that I'm supposed to say that you should do to help the channel out, because it really does help the channel out a lot. Anyway, until the next video, see ya!